Okay, let me begin the presentation. Hopefully it's only about 10 minutes or so. The first thing is my disclaimer, and then we got the topics for discussion. Uh, Looks like a long list, but it shouldn't take more than 10 or 15 minutes to get through this. I did poll some people about what they were interested in, and seems a lot of people want to know about the district overlay, Chick-fil-A and Wawa, or corners of Newtown, crossing, that sort of thing, housing development. The first thing I wanted to mention was the anti-Chick-fil-A petition that resident Donna Serdula submitted to the Board of Supervisors on back in May. And at that point, I forget exactly how many signatures there were, maybe nearly 700. Recently, there've been more signatures, maybe close to 900 signatures. And I think as a result of that and the comments that were included in that uh, uh, petition, which I found very interesting, uh, the application for bringing this before the zoning hearing board, which is the government board that approves these types of variances to the zoning to allow this. Again, the Wawa had submitted an application to locate a drive-through restaurant on lower Newtown Yardley Road and the bypass shown in that map over there, diagonally across from the Wawa location. And it really needed some variances to the zoning. And a lot of people were concerned about the increased traffic on Newtown Yardley Road. We recently experienced that traffic at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. It was horrendous. It was worse than the traffic on 95 getting into Philadelphia when we went to see the Rolling Stones concert. Anyway, I just had a quote from Miss Serdula, who said, while this being on hold is a conditional, is a temporary halt, it is not a definitive victory, she said. The application could be resubmitted in the future, perhaps possibly in a different form or location. And she says we must stay vigilant and prepared to mobilize again if necessary. Anyway, I have notes from this presentation that I'll be glad to distribute to uh, attendees after the meeting. Regarding Wawa, some interesting developments. The work has begun at the site, and you can go by there and see the equipment leveling out, removing the trees, and leveling the groundwork. Meanwhile, interestingly, Wawa has secured a liquor license to sell beer at two locations, one in Montgomery County, which it identified what location that was, but another one in Bucks County, and it just did not disclose that location, which leads me to believe that the Wawa here in Newtown is a prime candidate for that liquor license. Now, I just had a note in here about businesses in Philadelphia that have been subject to a curfew from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. over concerns of safety issues. And when Wawa came applied to Newtown, I did attempt to limit their hours so that they would remain closed from midnight to 6 a.m. And that was allowed by our zoning if there was a residence within 700 feet, which there is. But somehow Wawa managed to explain that away, and they have a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week business now. However, I'm still concerned that this could be a problem in terms of highway robberies or whatever happens at Wawa's I've been hearing about in other locations. And it's way out of, it's at the edge of town, and it might draw the police away from other important work. But I'm pretty sure, I'm willing to bet that they're gonna be coming to the township wanting to sell beer. Now, this has to be approved by the supervisors. And I would just note that Newtown already has about 18 um, restaurant liquor licenses that are either been approved or will soon be or in safekeeping. And the Liquor Control Board has set quotas for townships like ours, and our quota was 7. So we're totally about, you know, uh, almost, I don't know, 7 times 2, or to be have twice as many, 3 times as many liquor licenses already as set by a quota for restaurants. And I don't know, I just think this is not a good idea. Anyway, getting on to something else that's kind of related. It's the LIOLI, which stands for Light Industrial Office and Light Industrial Zones. And you can see where they are in this map. This includes the Business Commons area, and it included that area where Chick-fil-A wanted to originally put in an application. And it's been in the works for a long time that the Bucks County Planning Commission developed what's called this overlay, where we can add on uses for these districts, uh, because right now the businesses in those areas, a lot of people are no longer working in offices, and there might be empty office space. For me, the original idea was maybe some of that empty office space could have been opened up to in businesses within the office buildings, like dry cleaning, fast food places, etc. But this has really morphed into uses that were not originally considered. And the ones I'm concerned with are the housing and high density housing, uh, and what's called mixed use development, where there's 2 or 3 stories, but the first floor is a commercial business, like a dry cleaner. And I do think it could use some small businesses like that in the area, but I'm not really, in favor of these town center apartments and the zoning that the Bucks County Planning Commission has developed. This overlay allows 20 housing units per acre, which already is something the Planning Commission members have objected to in another housing unit the corners at Newtown, which I might have something to say in a little while about. They think that that is much too dense, and yet most of the members of the planning commission did not object to this. The other objection I had was that these uses are by right, meaning the Board of Supervisors has no authority to deny the applications. We can only weigh in on how the use will be developed, called land development, which to me means more or less where to locate the trash receptacles, how wide the sidewalk should be, that kind of thing. And we really can't prevent the buildings from being built, in other words. And this overlay also includes drive-in eating places. I'm not sure if this will add to the traffic problems along Newtown Yardley Road and the other roads around there, but I think what you have here is a potential for increased housing density and increased traffic. On to the pedestrian crosswalks, pedestrian safety. I've been discussing this a lot with the residents of Newtown Walk, and I think there are a couple of residents from Newtown Walk present here tonight. This is just a little kind of a timeline, but in my notes, I have more of the timeline. It goes back actually to June 2022, when the some improvements to the crosswalk at Tara Boulevard and Newtown Road. Tara Boulevard is the entrance to the Newtown Walk development. And the residents of that development have come to the Board of Supervisors meeting many times to say how they needed some kind of mitigation, some safety issues installed on that crosswalk. And so this is the work that's been done so far. There was one plan submitted to PennDOT back in October 2023, which involved an overhead flashing beacon. PennDOT, I don't think, liked that plan and came back with comments. And in the meantime, we applied for this grant, an ARLILE grant, which right now escapes my what that stands for, but we did get that grant for $300,000 or so dollars. And so there is money for this, but it's taken a little bit of time for RVE, which is Remington and Vernick Engineers, it's our engineering company, to submit the revised plan, which you can see here with just poles with flashing beacons on them. And it's controlled by the pedestrians through push buttons. And I put a quote in here from one of the residents of Newtown Walk, who has not been very happy with the progress so far. I don't know why it has taken so long for the engineers to come up with this plan, but it's been submitted. And I think pretty soon the PennDOT should respond to that plan. And I hope it's a positive response in a couple of weeks or so, early July. And then after that, the project has to go out for bid, and I don't know if that'll take a few more months. So we're still not there yet. Corners at Newtown Place, this is the parking car apartment building. Again, it's a new use that requires a amendment to the, what's called the JMZO, the Joint Municipal Zoning Ordinance, which applies to three townships, Newtown, Wrightstown, and Upper Makefield. There is a lot of concern, again, about the density, and people on the planning commission were asking why is a new use needed when there is a use for medium density apartments. There was comments by another member of the planning commission about the traffic impact study, which did not take into account additional impact of the borough's future steeplechase project, which is a nearby project. There's a lot more information in my notes, which I can distribute to you afterwards. But the planning commission was sort of divided on this. I think there were 5 members in favor of this plan and 4 members against it. It hasn't yet come to the Board of Supervisors for any action. At the last meeting, we approved this pollinator garden in which I had previously been calling a wildflower garden. It's not a wildflower garden, it's a pollinator garden. And I have video from the meeting where Supervisor Alan Snyder, who championed this, describes it in detail, why it's different from a wildflower. It is where the location of the trees that were planted by residents few years ago. One of the trees I helped to plant. And this is going to be paid from the deferred revenue account, which was money donated actually by the Newtown Athletic Club, because they removed 26 trees for a project they were working on, which they since abandoned, and they donated around $9,200 to this fund to be used exclusively in Roberts Ridge Park. And I think Mr. Worthington has an interest. I think he was involved a lot with the playground there. So he wanted this to be used for Roberts Ridge Park. And I thought this was a good idea. Mr. Calabro and Mr. Davis, 2 residents, 2 supervisors, did not agree, but this was approved by a 3-2 vote at the June 12th meeting. Again, I have more details. Finally, pickleball seems to be a very popular activity. And a company came to the planning commission with a plan to locate an indoor pickleball court with 11 courts at the location of the vacant Bed Bath and Beyond site at Newtown Shopping Center. It's a members only club. I think if they mentioned the fee would be around $109 to $130 per month. Hours of operation would be 6 a.m. to midnight. Parking will not be an issue according to developers. Meanwhile, at that meeting, I learned that it definitely is in the works for West Road to somehow a bypass lane to be developed on West Road so that people waiting online for Chick-fil-A at this location will not interfere with traffic getting to this site and to Acme and other sites in that shopping center. So perhaps Chick-fil-A does not need a second location. Originally, I thought they were going to move from this location to the one off of the bypass, but I guess not. In any case, that's my presentation, and I want to open it up for any questions and discussion.